I grew up dancing with, one of my closest friends growing up dancing was Nomak, was Alex Moraz, who ended up working in the film industry, went on to do other things, but he completely dropped out of breaking. He was one of the most talented people I had ever seen. And this question, what I like about this question is, for me, it ties into two different things. It ties into the idea of natural ability and your will to succeed at something. For me, Nomak was just the natural. I was not. I had two left feet. I was just an awful dancer. I couldn't do it. I was just really stiff, and I developed a style based off of that because that's who I was. But I wasn't natural at all at dancing. It just came really hard to me. I had to work at it every day. I was a turtle. And I'm not trying to downplay who he is in life because he's very successful, he's doing good things, but as far as dancing went, he was just a natural. Anything he touched turned to gold. It was amazing. Everything he did was really simple for him. Physically, it just came easy, and I'd have to work with that. I'd see him just naturally being able to move through this entire spectrum of different movements and difficulty and stuff like that, and I wasn't able to do it. I had to just keep chipping away at it, and I think that's something that really helped me in the long run because these days, what I care about when I see a student isn't the kid that's flying through the air. I'm not going to take them in under my wing right away just because they're capable of doing anything. I want to see them showing up every single day. I want to see them struggle. I think that's one of the things that you see in some of these really talented dancers out there that have natural ability. They squander their potential because it has been so easy, because they don't have as much struggle. And that's what causes them to fall off. They're not being challenged, they're not challenging themselves. So I think that's something when you're growing up in the dance, you shouldn't compare yourself to who's natural and who isn't. I think that's something that'll really mess with you, with your mentality. Just because you're not getting something at a certain pace or someone else picks it up faster, it should always be about you competing against you in contrast to other people. And I think that's one of the things that people end up doing and dropping out is because they just stop challenging themselves. And you gotta find your challenge, even if you're really natural, even if it comes like really simple to you, that you should definitely find a challenge in this dance.
Why does it seem like breaking is bigger or like more respected in other countries?
Let's go, House.
It's not just breaking. It's the culture in general. I mean, I don't think there's any one reason, one answer for that. I think in part, it's the scarcity. Yes, why breaking is bigger in other countries, like overseas. So I think just like I can relate to it in the sense of in the 90s where there wasn't tons of places to go break or to do whatever. So whenever you did, or even jams, it was like the Bboy Summit and Radiotron, like 2 jams a year. So when those jams came through, you really, really appreciated them because that was a very rare moment. And I think overseas, they're not, it's younger than America, obviously. And so because of the scarcity that they have of it, they kind of appreciate it more. Partially it's also culturally, like Americans, we're not the most disciplined cats in the world all the time, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so say, for example, in Japan or something, like their culture alone is a very disciplined culture, like connected with the martial arts. So they take it very serious, and I think the appreciation is more because of that, because it's not as accessible, and you know, and that's happening everywhere now. But it's a culture in general. America, we kind of, if we can't make money off of it, then we don't push it as much. You know, we don't support it as much if we don't have some gain back from it.
I think this one kind of sucks because it's totally true. You go to another country and there's funding. It's different. When I like the chances I've had to go overseas and go to events, it's totally different. It's like a community event. It's like a poor man's circus, like moms, dads, families, like everybody shows up. There's bleachers filled with people. And we have a hard time filling the smallest rooms. And a lot of it's because a lot of us don't want to help pass out flyers or promote for someone else's event or do this and this and that. It's funny because that's kind of really contradicting the fact that we're so buddy-buddy, but no one's working together to really build what we're doing. Getting parents involved, getting schools involved. Everybody knows somebody. You know grant writers. You know people that work for different companies, sponsors. You got to start reaching out. That's a lot of stuff. We're being bought and sold for so cheap as a culture all over the world. You go to Europe and it's a blessing. You go to America and all this dance stuff is a burden. It's synonymous with the gangs and street, and it's just all this barbaric mentality about what we do when we're really amazing artists, but we need to prove it. You know, you need to go out there, you need to start working towards how we're going to develop our culture so that we can sustain our culture with jobs. so that we can get paid, we can live off of it, you know, so you don't have to quit the like one thing you really love because you're broke every day, you know? How do you not get broke? You help support these studios that are out here, you help throw cultural events, you help get everybody involved as much as you can. But if you sit there and do nothing, it's gonna die out, we're gonna go broke, no one's gonna be able to live off of it, and there's money there, people are living off of it, there are. I mean, in America, it's tougher. I can't say I know like a b-boy that's crazy rich. You know, I know guys that are in the industry, and what that means, you know, and them getting a gig here and a couple $1,000s there, and then having a dry spell, or them not trending anymore, or this and that. I think that's like a lottery ticket. I think the industry, or like quote unquote industry, that's like a lottery ticket. You're gonna burn out with it. But teaching, teaching in schools, working with kids, working with adults, spreading our culture in different ways like that, there's sustainability in that. You know, there's a way to sustain what we do. We just have to figure it out, because we sure as hell have not figured it out yet. I'm broke. I'm broke as hell. Everybody's broke. Everybody knows broke. We're all struggling, we're scraping, and I love that I'm always struggling, but I would love to have $1 million also. So, I think there's sustainability, and we just need to figure it out and work towards that.
How do you three feel about the idea of the culture or these different forms taking on different venues, such as being on a stage? So I'm not talking about commercialized, like it's in a video or it's for a Vegas show and you're being cycled through and commodified, but in the ways that it becomes now a tool to recognize all of the community that exists within the forms, that the culture is real and it's not stigmatized by the ideas of US Black culture that are then turned around to be, you know, racialized, and all the different ways that we hear it in like mainstream hip hop.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel, let me just go back to the question, how do you feel about it being in different venues, it not always being a cipher or being a battle?
I think it's fine as long as it's going through the right mediums. You know, I think too many times it is on a big stage and it's going through the wrong mediums. I go to LA and I go to the studio that is phenomenal, it has it all, and the guy that's instructing just has no idea who anyone is. Doesn't know anybody, you know, and it's like a lot of nepotism and different things, and it's because no one's saying anything, no one's rising up, no one's getting organized, everybody just wants to cross their arms and not do that. I would love to be on a big stage, you know, but properly representing our culture, you know, there's a fine line we gotta walk with, and everybody's different as far as integrity goes. I'm not gonna put on a bear suit, I don't care how much you're gonna pay me, you know, I'm not gonna break in a damn bear suit or something like that. I'm not gonna jeopardize who I am as a person and dress up like an idiot or, you know, or jeopardize the culture.
It already happens in videos, right? It already happens in
left and right.
It's commercialized, but what's different, I think, about European culture, specifically like France and Spain, some of the reasons they have funding nationally is because they've taken it into different venues so that, you know, what's considered high art, people are now paying to then hear the stories and the voices of the people that are doing the form. And I just don't see that we're rallying together to even think about that as a possibility, because we're still scared we're going to be commodified in that form.
Yeah.
Like, okay, who's going to pay me my paycheck, and when do I have to come out on the stage and do these things? But it becomes a platform, you know what I mean? I mean, this is something that we're doing right now, it's different, but none of us are being able to make any money off of this necessarily. But how can we start to do that, I guess is my question.
Answers? Who has a solution for our crisis? I mean, I want to do high art. I mean, it's just networking, you know? If we know people, let's do it. I'm game.
It's high art, right? It's just the positioning of the venue so that other people think it is. That's the whole point.
What's your solution?
That we need to start like having cultural meetings about it and finding platforms that aren't necessarily about doing it at Scottsdale Center for the Arts or the Herberger, but having them be recognized, right? The people are coming out and writing about that, being more grassroots, I guess. I have no idea how that would actually work. I just know that it's worked in times for us before.
I fully agree. I think this is a step towards that, and I think people like JoJo are facilitating those kinds of ideas, and I give it up to JoJo for that. Stuff like this is amazing. I know we're sitting here talking, it's lengthy, but man, if I could have went back in time and listened to, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I mean, if I could have went back and listened to some of these great writers, even in their younger years and what they were doing, I'd have sat there and listened to all of it, I would have showed up to all of it, but that would have made me who I was. And that's why I respect the hell out of all of you. I know this is, you know, listening to people talk is lengthy, but I mean, what you're taking away and the fact that the way I look at every single one of you now for showing up is totally different. I don't care whether there was 5 people that showed up, I'm gonna pour my heart out to you and tell you what I want to tell you. Because I respect you for showing up that much, and it means a lot to me.
You mentioned about culture. My name is Arena Han from KC Hollywood Entertainment Celebrity News. It's a new celebrity news that I'm just starting.
Okay.
So hopefully that you guys can support. At the same time, you just mentioned about culture. Define culture. Are you talking about culture the dance style culture in different countries, culture in different groups. Can you please explain?
Define culture?
Yes.
Because he just mentioned culture a while ago when he was answering her question.
By definition, culture is commonalities. It's a culture. It includes the way we move, the way we talk, the way we dress, the food we eat, the music we listen to, the instruments that we have. Hip hop contains all of those things, right? We have our own language, we have our own art, we have our own instruments, we have all of those things. So I think it's the combination of all of those things that creates culture. And that's, I don't know, it's culture.
Yeah, just to comment on everything that's being said, and it's all so beautiful. And I think not only as dancers, but as everybody in this artistic world of being. There's so many of us now, and we're coming into this culture realizing that it really is a culture and that we all have things to express, and that we're not all going to be working in an office, we're not all going to be doing that paperwork. We're going to express ourselves and share our message and share our truth and make change through our dance, through our art, through our music. And we are coming into that time where we are going to be supported for it. And it's beautiful to see that being born and to see the youth like really come in. And I think the question is as a people, because nobody else is going to help us but ourselves. So as a people, how are we supporting each other? You know, where are our funds going to? Where do we spend our money? Where do we put our money? Right? So if we start putting our money into the dance, into the community, into all that, then we'll see it grow when we support each other. There's a huge movement of it going on throughout these festivals that are happening all around the world. Thousands of people are being attracted to these transformational festivals where artists of all kinds are being supported in a big way. And we're showing people that, okay, you know, this is what we're here to do. We're not meant to do anything else. And, you know, we're not going to have one foot in the corporate world and one foot over here as performers, because that's what we are. So let's embody it fully, you know, so let's support each other.
How are you going to teach all these people, all this group in general, how to make some money for individual? Do you have any idea how you're going to open it up to everybody aside from gathering all the money together and putting it in a whole foundation? Is there any other way that, like, for example, my son, Chris, right now, he got and he got paid $20 per hour. So how can we create this opportunity for everybody? Because everybody's very good. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing performers. But, you know, it hurts me sometimes as a parent because I have to put out some money, but I have no choice. But how are we going to be able to help everybody? Not just only the group, not just only the foundation, individually at the same time. Do you have any other ideas or projects to share to everybody?
I mean, for the most part, I think...
Joining the contest.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more jobs than there was 10 years ago. You know, I think like there wasn't a lot of workshops, there wasn't classes in your neighborhoods, there wasn't this and that. I think the best thing everybody in this room could do is support the people that are their community leaders. People like House, people like Jukebox, people like all the studios and things that are actually doing something that are worth a damn in this community, and supporting that to the best of your ability. Reposting, using social networks, using all of that so that we can continue to sustain those. And once we've sustained those, we can continue to build more jobs as far as teaching, you know. To have someone be your mentor, like House, you know, take that on, learn that lineage so that you have something to teach and you can continue to make more jobs for everybody else.
For those who's teachers or instructor, dance instructor, or the higher seniority of all the dance group or all of the performers, did you try to mention to them or to give them an idea that in this industry they can be able to make some money by doing like a casting on the music videos, or, you know, like give them some leads for, you know, some performers that companies or producers that giving away are paying that they can be able to pay? Have you tried to open that up?
I mean, with that specifically, I don't think any of us up here are, well, none of us are in the industry, or I don't think are really interested in the industry in itself. I think, I feel like just by teaching and leading by example and building opportunities, I can't teach somebody how to make money because I'm not making tons of money. I'm broke too. So for me to be like, this is what you need to do to make money. No, I don't know, it's a struggle. So all you can say is do what you do and do it with integrity. And find somebody that, if it is that you want to do the industry, then go to somebody that's industry and find out what they're doing and ask those questions. You know, I think places like Cypress, that's what places like Cypress is. It's an opportunity. Anybody that wants to teach there can come teach there. They can come, but it's a struggle, it's a sacrifice. I feel like a lot of people like the idea of being hip hop, or like the idea of community, or like the idea of like breaking, but they're not really ready to put the sacrifices that are needed to really completely do this. You know, people are like, I want to learn how to break. No, you like the idea of knowing how to break, but you don't really want to do it because it's not that easy and it's a lot of work, etc. Same thing with you know, let's support each other, but it's like, you know, like she said, what are we spending our money on? Are we, you know, if we all just spend our money in this circle, then we're all going to have money. It's going to keep going.
For example, if I have a producer, just an example. For example, I will provide you a lead that you can make, you know, everybody make some money. Let's say per hour, you get paid just to be joined at the music video here in Arizona, not out of state, here in Arizona. Can you be able to provide them just in case we have some, you know, investors?
No, I mean, there isn't, I feel like you're asking like for, like, show everybody the pot of gold. Like, there isn't any, like, here, go to this and you're going to jump into this industry, or you're going to, that's not really, if somebody asks me anything, hey, House, I want to get into this. If I have somebody I contact with you, I'm going to give it to you. If you're somebody that's authentic and you're somebody that's, ooh, that word, or you're somebody that's, you know, that I know you're going to give back to the culture, yes, I will. But just any Joe Schmo that comes up to me and like, I know how to do headspins, House, can you connect me with this guy and refer me? No, I'm not going to. And people can say it's hate or whatever. It's not. It's the same thing. It's very valuable. I know what. I'm not going to put my name behind anybody else or refer anybody to anybody else unless I know you're the real deal and you're going to give. And really, if you're going to give back to the culture of it, you know, if people are just looking for that lead or just looking for that to get ahead for themselves, you know, I don't think any of us up here are the ones to be asking.
I think something I've learned over my last couple of years being in Phoenix and doing the hip hop. Listen. Whatever. Okay, I'm from like a really small town in Colorado, and I had no idea what this was. So I struggle with that in my personal journey, like what, okay, so I always loved to dance and love music, and I came to this through an academic setting, so what makes me authentic? But really, like, the moral of the story is, like, we're in a capitalist society, and to get by as performers, we have to sell ourselves as a performer. But the truth is, and I know that everyone in this room can speak to this, that we're not performers, we're people who dance. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I don't go to class and say, I'm going to perform today. It's because I am so passionate about this that it's what I do. And for every artist, we have to be entrepreneurs, and we have to, you know, accept every one of our interests. And by us accepting that, then we can put that out to the world, and people will commission us or bring us into projects in which then we can sustain ourselves doing it. But it takes having, you know, a business-like mindset to be able to understand what people need and to bring in what you can bring to the table. You don't have to be a performer. You don't have to be this, like, image of something that, you know, I'm going to come in here and make this money. It's like, if you really embody what you're passionate about, it takes so much work out of that because people see it and they bring you in. It's just like what goes through comes back. And it's hard. It's hard. Coming from a place where, you know, you're, like Britt was talking about, different venues of things, trying to put different things on stages and understanding it from where you're at. And you have to embrace your journey as itself and not put a timestamp on anything. Like, if you're going through something and you really do want to, like, learn a style, it might come a couple months later than when everyone else is doing it, because you're working towards something else that you care about or that needs to get done. So I say just, like, embody yourself as your passion, and, you know, embrace the flow of the journey. And like people will come up to you and people will need you for things and you lend a hand and we support our community the best way we can. But there's not really any real equation. You kind of just have to take it upon yourself to be that entrepreneur of your own passions and see how you can help people through that. So, I mean, that's my soapbox about that.
What I was also trying to say to begin with about the venue is that, Emily, I totally hear what you're saying about individualizing yourself and being an entrepreneur and working within the capitalistic system, but I think reframing it and trying to think about outside of our culture, outside of what we do together, how do we start to get more national recognition to fund our nonprofits, to fund more opportunities that are not necessarily individualized, but as groups can fund ciphers, and anyone that teaches there now has residencies at other places, because there is money there to be situated on a more national level, but we're so checked out by what's happening politically because we're so caught up in like, well, I'm just trying to do me, that we let everything happen to us and around us, and that's part of the capitalistic system. You know what I mean? Is to be caught up in your own journey, which is effective for some, but not inclusive to all. And if we're trying to gather around and say support our community, then it's actually outside of our community that we want to start getting the recognition and start asking for funding and start knowing who not just can write the grants, but who we need to be talking to up the ladder so that we start getting more funding, especially for Arizona. We don't have any arts funding, and we could get so much more back into our communities if we knew what the hell was going on. You know? So that was my point about venues and having it look differently than what it does right now, and not to strip it away from what it looks like or to commodify us individually, but to gather together in a grassroots system. Just have more knowledge about what's happening around us instead of holding on to like what it is that we are. You know what I mean?
And just to wrap this section up, I think part of what needs to happen is what's happening now is that there has to be a relationship and a trust built between these worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's, I know for myself, that's part of, you know, and I listen to those because I voice it at school all the time. That's one of the fears is to like, are these, you know, are the people up the man, you know, because that's what you see as the people that have the ability to get the funding or the venues or that structure. We look at that as the man, and the man has always dissed us and always like just culture vultured us. So I think that's what needs to happen. And I think Arizona is doing a good job. Is it going to take time? It's going to take time. You know, as long as, you know, I've known Melissa for a long, long time, but, you know, we've had our conversations where like, because she's in there, I'm not going to just let myself go 100%, right? It has to build. It's taking time for me to even trust Melissa outside of, you know, I mean, our relationship that we've had before. To trust, like, okay, is her intentions, or is her, you know, is she really looking out for the culture? And again, it's just something that you don't want to get hurt like in any other relationship. So, you know, I think what we're doing now is
and even outside of our university system, like our national and state levels, you know, past the universities, because they'll still do it too. They're still corporations. They're still trying to make money and get people in the door and have them pay their tuition and their student loans afterwards. So it's true, right? But so then how do we go even above that?
Yeah. And I think it's placing people, I mean, for example, I use, like the industry it's changed now because now we have people in there that we trust. Now there's the flow masters. Now there's the flips. The cats that like, okay, these are real cats that have real intentions for the culture. So now I'm going to trust because I trust them. Same way we trust going to certain events because, okay, I know if Pierre's throwing it, then I know it's going to be legit. So I think it's just building that relationship and also getting more of us into those positions, right? You know, to get moving to those positions. Not everybody's going to be the Red Bull BC1 champion here, and that's fine. We don't need 100 of those. But we need other people in other situations.
Being committed to your passion and to your expression and doing whatever it took to get here tonight. Nobody knows what you had to do to get here, what you had to cancel, or if you got lost, or what you had to rearrange, or any of the people that you had to fight through to continue to fight your passion for what each person here has to stand for. So all of you guys have principles, and that's what's in your movement. So I really acknowledge that and appreciate who you are because you made this event possible. So thank you sincerely. You guys made this event and you enjoyed, we were able to enjoy who you guys are because you expressed it through the universal language. So everybody give it up for these people. to take the time to acknowledge the people who organized this event. One of the side things that happened in creating these events was the awareness that how it really takes a village to create something like this, and how many people have to come together to make this event happen. And we're I'm super committed to making this event flawless in every way. So I have people assigned and all their descriptions are filled out because I'm insane, and I'm like, okay, this person's gonna do exactly this, but it takes so many people to make all of this happen. So wouldn't believe it. So they're all gonna come up here and be acknowledged. All of these people are responsible for making this event happen. Making this event happen tonight. Same exact story. I have no idea what you guys had to do to get here tonight, and all the things that you guys did that I know about to make this happen. Thank you, and for all the things I don't know that you did, and that I'll never know that you did to make this work. Thank you for that, and thank you for being committed to community, because that's who you are for me. You guys, most of these people don't get paid, but some of them get very, very little. And nobody came here to get money. They all came to support something that they believe in, which is the performers and you guys being able to watch those performers and the speakers. So thank you for your commitment to community and awareness and being in integrity, because you guys all came. So I really, really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Give it up, man. Last but certainly not least, I want to bring up the speakers for this evening. House, come here. I love you. House, you feel like family to me. I feel like we have a mutual understanding because we're both 29 and holding. And we are both superheroes, and there's just a mutual support that we've always had for each other. And I'm glad to call you my friend, and I respect you so much, and for what you do for everybody. And I respect the shit out of you for battling people, and still battling, coming up into the events, and not doing good for an old guy, but really repping hard. You know what I mean? Like legit. I watched you battle at my house event, and I was like jumping up and down, like, oh my God, this guy's going crazy out here. Like, I actually didn't know you had it all like left in you. I only see you at solstice like this. But you're amazing, and you show and prove in every way, and I thank you for that. So thank you very much. I love you. You're pretty cool. Give it up for Chris. We met officially when we battled.
And we both lost. We both lost.
We both lost.
We both lost.
Ray.
We both lost, yeah.
Because of house. But we freaked at the battle.
Yes, we did.
We were like this, hey. Yeah. Right. So, who you show up to me as is an outstanding commitment to someone who's like stupidly passionate. Like you'll risk everything for what you believe in. It's like you have blinders on. You can't see anybody. Your whole life is art, and it's amazing.
Who said that?
But you divert love and affection for humor. I'm just playing.
I'm getting a little mushy. I promised myself I wouldn't.
No, I'm really impressed by you, and I don't say that often, but I'm really impressed by you. I look up to you, and I think that your expression as an artist is it's legendary, and I think it's one of those things where people will write about you for a long time. So I appreciate that. and it's an honor to have you here. So thank you for everything. Where are you? There you are. Come here, Wewhum. Just by the way, these acknowledgements are really for me, because I don't get to say thank you publicly to these people. So Wewhum and I have had quite a history. I already told you that he was the first person that I met here in Phoenix, and I was really actually one of the reasons I was excited to come here was because I knew that you lived here, and I knew that at least one really, really dope dancer was going to be here when I got here. We haven't gotten along the whole time, and it really shook me up, and it was really confusing for me because we would hang out. You would always hang out with me, but we'd leave, and I'd be like, I swear that guy hates me. Why does he keep hanging out with me? And it took me a long time to figure out that that was your way of giving love, and it was your way of helping me see things without relying on you to show me, even though you're what made it show up. And as I've gotten older, I realized that you looking like the bad guy was a gift. It was really a gift, and it takes a lot of courage. And I don't think everybody can understand that, and I couldn't understand it for a long time. But I'm really, really grateful for that, because you made me see a lot of myself. So I am publicly saying thank you for being an asshole. Oh yeah, really quick. Actually, so you guys have some love letters here. So the three of you come up here and stand, please. Yeah, you're the pinnacle of the face is the pinnacle. All right. So these are some acknowledgments from the people who showed up tonight. William, this is.
You put out like a flame box? What is this?
These are people who wanted to say thank you for everything that you've done for the community. So enjoy those. I think that people forget to reach out and say thank you for everything that they've received from people. Look, these guys can't even wait to like get on the stage. So no, but really, like I know that every single person in here spends a lot of time thinking about, you know, what they look like and if they look good and everything like that. So and that's totally normal as a human being, but just remember to step outside of that and say thank you for the people who paved the way for you to be where you are today. And then last but not least, I want to publicly acknowledge my mom for something that she taught me really, and it's carried over into every event, every time I walk into a rehearsal, every time I teach a class. And my mom used to say, I don't care if you love me while I'm your teacher, I care if you love that you had me as your teacher. And so I've carried that with me, that I'm less interested about being your friend and more about what I can offer you for yourself. So it took me a long time to figure that out. The beauty of pissing people off, right? But so I want to say thank you for who you are as a person, because you made me who I am, and so I love you. Thank you so much to Jukebox. Leia and Ray Ray worked their asses off. This really, it actually takes a lot of work to put this all together. There's like hours and hours of stuff that has to go into making this happen. So please give a really big, huge round of applause to Rhea. That is everything. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to throw another event just like this in a couple of months, so we hope to see you then. Thank you very much.